Hi, NetEase Music. We are called Muse.
爆裂深沉的热血摇滚，高深莫测的另类歌词，技巧娴熟的假音转换，成就了 Muse 乐队在英伦摇滚中独树一帜的气质。这个由3人组成的英国乐队，凭借7张专辑，登上过伦敦奥运会闭幕式的舞台，也曾拿下格莱美最佳摇滚专辑，在全世界乐迷心中呼风唤雨。新专辑《无人机》讲述了一个士兵在战争中被洗脑和自我救赎的故事。
We actually made the album mainly in Canada, in Vancouver, but
more peaceful.
Yeah, interestingly, when we're making the album, it was the same time as the Ebola crisis, you know. So there was lots of news about this. I'm not sure if maybe that had some influence, but really, I was reading a lot about drones, you know. So I'm always influenced, lyric-wise, always influenced by things I'm reading, you know. So I was reading books like Predator Drones and Psychopath Test, things like this, and even though the setting we were in was quite pleasant, I guess. When you watch the news, it's always easy to get a different perspective or a more darker perspective of what's happening, you know. And I guess that the album was going for we were going for a more sort of hard rock sound, a more darker sound maybe. So I think it was suited to go for this kind of subject matter. Well, I think for some of the reasons I just said. I think partly because the kinds of music I tend to write, it's difficult to sometimes find the right kind of subject matter to sing about that fits that music. You know, because some of the musical styles don't really lend themselves to more kind of pop type lyrics or lyrics just about like relationships or things like that. Some songs do, but not all songs. You know, like for me, like the music of a song like Reapers, for example, is very unusual to try and write lyrics for, you know. So I find myself, depending on the song, different types of music sounds or chordal structures or melodies, they draw out different types of thoughts, you know. So songs like an unintended song, or a song like maybe Dead Inside or Aftermath, for example. Like a song like Aftermath, when I hear this music, it makes me feel like I'm singing about something like relationships, love, and, you know, missing love or something like that. So I try to create the lyric that fits the feeling of the music, you know. Whereas a song like Apocalypse Please, the music sort of sounds very grandiose, it sounds very menacing, and it sounds quite sort of epic, you know. And to me, when I entertain those kinds of emotions or thoughts in my mind, it brings out lyrics to do with things like fear, or to do with paranoia, you know. So I think really the music kind of comes first, and then the feeling that makes me feel is what evokes the kinds of lyrics we end up with, you know.
不想重复别人，更不会重复自己，这似乎解释了 Muse 乐队为何总会有独树一帜的歌词，以及为何 Muse 乐队每一张专辑的曲风都会与前作不同。7张专辑，他们的音乐从单纯的另类摇滚到古典、歌剧、流行、电音元素的混搭， Muse 乐队用不甘重复4个字写出了一部只属于自己的摇滚进化论。
Yeah, so I think well, we obviously started out with guitar, bass, and drums. You know, so we're influenced by kind of the history of music regarding those particular instruments. You know, so guitar, bass, and drums was mainly looking at rock. You know, so rock music from the second half of the 20th century, you know. And then as I started to play a little piano and discover the piano, I started to want to learn a bit more about other genres of music. So I started to explore more older music, like classical music, romantic 19th century sort of late romantic music, and then also film music as well, you know, has been influential. So I'd say primarily rock music, but then obviously mixed with some other genres like classical and probably, and then obviously a little bit of electronic as well crept in when we started to become more like producers. On the last few albums, we started to experiment with different sounds and stuff. Well, not yet, but
yeah, not just yet. No, I mean, it's hard to know because we're on tour at the moment, and I suppose we've just recently started the tour, you know, in the summertime, around when the album came out. So we have like another year of touring all around the world. But maybe, you know, at some point next year, maybe towards the end of next year, we might start thinking about it. But as to what we're going to do, who knows? I mean, I think every album we've tried to make it slightly different from the last. And every time we get into the studio, work on songs, particularly in the recording studio, we're always at least attempting to try and push ourselves in somewhere where we haven't been before and try and get outside our comfort zones. This album Drones has definitely got a very organic sound to it, particularly with like the instrumentation and the way that we're playing, and quite a heavy sound. So I would imagine that next time we'll do something quite different.
1994年在校相识组团，1998年发行第一张 EP， 一直到2015年的新专辑《新巡演》。如今已成军21年的 Muse 乐队，不仅历经英伦摇滚的辉煌与平静，更是在诸多老牌乐队纷纷宣布解散之后，仍如13岁时刚相识一般，保有乐队的完整性和创作激情，让歌迷不禁調侃他们像结婚一样激情满满。
Institutionalized.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. I think being with a group of friends that come from school together, from the same school, the same town, I think really is probably the main reason. I think when you have that kind of history, it's not as easy to walk away, as it is for people that have less strong ties, to each other, but to each other's history as well. It becomes like a relationship in some ways. You can't walk away very easily, without it being huge, without it being a big deal. So I think, whereas for other bands who formed later in life, their friendships maybe are less important, maybe. So therefore, breaking up becomes easier. Well, us two. No. I mean, we're like. I guess we're more like brothers. I guess, yeah, in some ways. Chris as well, because of how long we've known each other.
Yeah.
And we've seen each other experience many different things. So yeah, there was a moment where it looked like it might be possible, but I think with Richard Branson's company, I think unfortunately had some difficulties. I think so. I'm not sure if it's still the same potential as it was, but one day it'd be nice to go to space. Whether we can play there or not, I don't know. But
Sarah Brown has did some preparation actually.
Who?
Sarah Brown.
Oh, really? Oh, there you go. She may get there.
Can't keep my eyes off you. You feel like heaven touch. I wanna hold you so much. At long last, love has arrived, and I thank God.
Some other article that said, how do you repeat that?
I mean, refuse. A compliment, a verbal compliment is you accept it. You don't refuse it. Yeah. It's a nice thing. Yeah.
Okay, last question.